Hello friends, this is Diane and I am going to be making the covers for my Halloween journals today. I have two different types of covers that I have to construct, so I thought I would turn the camera on and let you see how I do the two different types. So let's do this one first. This is the one I'm more used to doing, is what I normally do, and that is with the two book covers that are taken off of the spine, and I'm constructing a new spine. So I have my book covers ready. I cut my my spine. I used this sheet of chipboard. It was 12 by 12, and I got it from a friend who didn't want her stuff anymore, but I'm sure she got it from Amazon, and it was in a package. I don't know how many were in the package, but 12 by 12 chipboard, and I don't know the weight of it either, but it's a good sturdy chipboard. If you have a good notebook like Cambridge, probably other brands as well, have a really even sturdier than this backing to them, and they make excellent spines. So what I did was I took my completed signatures with pretty much everything in them. I think I'm going to add a doily or something inside them too, but that's not going to add much bulk. So I took that and I just set it on my mat here with the measuring graph on it and let it just look comfortable. And it came out to 2 inches, which is pretty typical for my book. Sometimes I make them with 2.5 inches, even 3, but this one is 2. So I cut this to 2 inches and then the same height as the book cover. I can set these aside because I don't need them during the construction of the cover. So I think I have things pretty well prepped for this, things cut and selected, and there might be something that I missed, but we'll see. So I'm going to take my 3 pieces, my front cover, my spine, and my back cover, and I'm going to just start putting some red tape on them. I get the red tape at different craft stores. So I get them at Michael's and Hobby Lobby, and I don't get them at Joann's because they cost a little more there. But I get the 1/4 inch. They have them in 1/8 inch and I think 1/2 inch. And this is what it looks like at Hobby Lobby now. This is something new, and it's called the Papery Shop. That's their brand, I believe, and it's $2.99. So that's what it looks like at Hobby Lobby. The tape itself will look the same, except you can see the spool is smaller. This probably came from Michael's. It doesn't mean that there's less tape on it, it just means they made the plastic ring smaller. So I'm going to put this right along the edge of my cover. And then I'll put it around all 4 sides of this piece, the chipboard piece. It's Saturday as I do this, and as of now I have no plans for the day. I mean, I don't have any obligations. I do have plans. My plans are to stay home, get these journals covers made. Maybe this evening I'll sew them together and get my craft room a little bit more usable. I've been going through stuff, and book pages are the death of me, I think. But I think I can see the light at the end of the tunnel with the book pages. So you'll be seeing some of them in my shop pretty soon. So I made sure that my cover was right side up, and now I'm lining it up on my grid so to make sure it's straight, and I'm just having a tiny little space between the pieces so that the covers can open and close freely. Actually, I shouldn't do that until I have the tape pulled off, because I'm going to have to mess it up now to pull the tape off. Got ahead of myself there. That was a practice run. Okay, now let's line them up. And sometimes this is a little tricky because your fingers stick to the tape and you have it lined up perfectly and you move your hand and the piece comes with you. So you have to be careful to not get stuck on the piece. Now I have a piece of Tyvek which came from an envelope. I will show you that. This is a Tyvek envelope you can get at office supply stores, probably I'm sure on Amazon. Walmart even had them for a short while, and I bought several packages of them when they put them on clearance, so I don't think they have them anymore. But I just cut the flap off, cut them apart, and then cut my pieces of Tyvek. Tyvek is a material, and they use it in construction too. It doesn't tear, it's plastic, but it works like paper. Also, if you get the priority envelopes from the post office, don't take them from the post office to use like this. That is illegal. But if you get one in the mail, you may certainly cut it apart and use it. It's illegal to take the government property and not use it for what it was intended. But once it's been used, it's all yours. Okay, just making sure it's all lined up the way I want it. And I'm just going to lay the Tyvek down, try to center it. So the spine was 2 inches. I cut the Tyvek, I think I cut it 3.5 inches. Yes, 3.5 inches, so that there would, and there isn't a whole lot of overlap. I didn't center it very good because there's more on this side. But that's okay. Now, normally I would cut a piece of fabric that would wrap all the way around and meet here, and then I'd be done. But I want to use this leather. It's not real leather, but that's what I had that matched the cover the best, or that went the best with it. And I thought it would be too bulky to have it wrap all the way around. So sometimes I have to do it this way. I cut it longer than the spine so that it can wrap over. And I know I cut more than I needed because I knew I could just trim it off. So I put that where I want it. Fold it over like that. So that will cover the spine. I'm going to put some glue on it. I'll use my Fabri-Tac glue. I'm not going all the way to the end yet. And you will be sewing through this. No, I won't. I won't be sewing through. Yes, I will. It's the other book. I'm not going to sew through the spine. So you will be sewing through this to attach it to the signatures. So that'll help hold it in place too. So I'll take this and just lay it down. And I'm not going to close it. I'm not going to close the book because I don't want to move. That would make the piece move that we just glued because the glue's not dry yet. I've made that mistake of closing the book to see how it looked before the glue was completely dry, and it caused puckers. So I'll just put glue on the fold over flaps. Now, I did not have papers to cover the end papers. Well, for this one, I did find some. The other one I didn't. I had to use mixed ones. But I'm not ready for that yet anyway. So now I have to cover the rest of this. So I cut a piece of this, well, I tore a piece of this black cat fabric just to cover that. Sometimes I leave the end papers. These would have been fine because, you know, they're just a plain color that matches the theme of the book, but I got copper paint on them when I was putting paint on the cover, so I'm going to cover the end papers. Seems like it's been forever since I made a journal like this because I've been doing smash books and binder journals. So even though I've made many journals like this, since it's been quite a while, I'm having to think about what's the next step. I don't want to do one step ahead of the other, especially since I'm doing it a little bit different by not having the fabric go all the way around. But thinking is good for us. Keeps us young. So I have these cardstock, these patterned paper cardstock thingies that are cut to the right size. I cut them so that they are the size of the gold piece, the end paper. They don't go all the way to the top. I want that to show. So there's going to be a little copper paint right there. I don't know if I can get it off, but I don't really care. It's fine. And sometimes I use my red tape for this step, and sometimes I use this. Sometimes I use both. I'm going to use red tape, and then maybe I'll put some other Fabri-Tac in the center. There's the end of that roll. It's a good thing I went to Hobby Lobby. I had to go. Oh, I had to go up to Horseheads to Best Buy. And because there was something wrong with my laptop again, my brand new one. They had to actually, it wouldn't charge. It showed it was plugged in but not charging. They had to open it and reset the battery pack or something like that. Well, it's working fine now. But anyway, I had to go up there with my grandson because I was watching him that day. And so we made a quick stop at Hobby Lobby so I could get some red tape because I knew I was running out. Other than that, I haven't been going up there. I haven't gone to the craft stores. And I had seen people with their big, 75% off Hobby Lobby hauls. But I didn't go, except for when I had to go get my red tape. So we looked around. So they still had quite a bit on clearance, but there was really nothing there that I wanted or needed except, what did I get? I I don't remember. I got something. Oh, I got a couple of stamps that were $1 something. They just have words. They're just like quotes. So that is the cheapest I've gotten out of Hobby Lobby in a long time. Thought about going to the flea market today. The one in the Barns. It's open on the weekends, but number one, I don't need anything, and number two, I got stuff to do. Takes me, it's probably about a 3-hour chunk out of my day, because between the driving and the looking. Oh, I use my AGT gun instead of this stuff. So just to make sure it's going to stick to the fabric, I'm going to just put some of this along this edge. And I don't know if I have another bottle of this, but I can get this at Walmart. That's local. But I don't want to go today, and I have 2 covers to make today. I appreciate those of you who have made comments on the process of these Halloween journals. And I know some of you are interested in the journals. And I'm sorry I can't reserve them, because I made that my policy and I haven't changed that yet, so it wouldn't be fair to reserve it. So if I get these put together today, you'll be seeing this video tomorrow, which is Sunday. I'm hoping to get these books listed on Monday. So keep an eye out. If you favorite my shop, then on Etsy you will get notifications of new listings. Also, if you click on the bell icon on my YouTube channel, you will get notified when I do a new video. And of course I'll do oh, that's pretty close to that. That was a little bit wider than it needed to be, but it's going to work. You'll get notified when I put up a new video, which I will do before I list the books. Now, I was thinking about putting some of this trim with the gray on it, but now that I'm looking at the book, I was just thinking gray for Halloween, you know, but I don't know if that would work with this book. Well, there is silver on it, so it might be okay. Yeah, I think that's okay. Let me see if I like this one better. I got these trims at Hobby Lobby with the gray in them. That one's smaller, so I thought I might like it better. I think I do. If you didn't see the video from yesterday, I showed the decorating of this cover and where this weird looking doily came from. It was a silver, it was a foiled doily like this one, and it came apart. It was vintage and the foil peeled right off it, but it left a little bit on the edges, and it left this brown, there's a couple of shades of brown on it, and I put this silver, this newer silver doily in the middle of it. Mod Podged it on there. Okay. Now all I have to do is sew the signatures in, and this journal will be done. Maybe put a label here. Now, on to this one. I am going to maintain the spine here, which I often do if the spine is big enough, but I don't want to sew through this one because of the embossing on it. I want to highlight that. So I'm going to do a hidden spine. So I have a piece of Tyvek cut because I still want to reinforce it with Tyvek, so I can use that. But then I will take this, this is a 1.5 inch spine, so I cut this 1.5 inches and actually had to shave a little bit off it so it would fit in there nicely. But I'm going to wrap some paper around it. Just want to make sure this edge is cleaned off so it's not taking up room that I need. I'm trying not to cut through the spine. When I wrap paper around the piece of chipboard, it's going to make it a little thicker, so I hope it's going to work. So I cut a piece of paper just a little wider. I thought I had one all cut to size. Maybe I just didn't trim off the end of it. Okay, so there's my little spine piece, and I'm going to sew my signatures onto this. Right side up. It doesn't matter because I can turn this either way I want to. And then I will have to come back and glue the book together. So I can take this that's all attached to this and glue it in and put my end papers on. Now I said I had to use 2 different end papers, so I chose this green because there's green on this front page, and I'm using this neutral color which matches the piece that's in the spine on the back. So when I get this part done, I will come back and finish this cover. So I hope that you learned from this and were able to see how I do it, and if it helped you figure out how you need to do it or how you want to do it, because there are other videos. Everybody has their own little ways of doing things, and you know, somebody might do something very similar to mine, but there's something in it that's a little different. So, you know, watch lots of videos on how people put their book covers together. But I hope that you found something useful in this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, all of that good stuff. And I will be seeing you again to finish up this journal cover. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.